Right now, somewhere in your house, there is soap, shampoo, toothpaste, deodorant, laundry detergent. Humans spend billions of dollars every single year trying not to smell human. The global deodorant market alone is worth over $24 billion. But for almost all of human history, none of those things existed. Ancient humans smelled like smoke and sweat and wet earth and animal fat and fire. And strangely enough to each other, that smell probably felt completely normal. So what did ancient humans actually smell like? And what does the answer reveal about the world we live in now? Let us start with the most dominant smell of ancient human life: smoke. The earliest solid evidence of humans controlling fire comes from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, roughly 1 million years ago. From that point forward, fire became the center of human existence. Warmth, cooking, protection from predators, safety in the dark. Ancient humans did not sit near a fire occasionally. They lived beside one almost constantly. Think about what that actually means. Every morning, they woke up beside a fire. Every meal was prepared over one. Every night was spent close enough to feel its heat. Smoke particles are microscopic and they embed deeply into hair, skin, and clothing. Anyone who has spent a single night around a campfire knows exactly how stubborn that smell is. Now imagine living that way every single day of your life, with no shower waiting in the morning. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer communities note that smoke is a near-permanent feature of camp life. It saturates everything: the sleeping area, the food, the tools, the people. For most of human history, smelling like smoke meant you were alive. It meant the fire was still burning. It meant you were safe for another night. Smoke was not a nuisance. It was the smell of survival. And it was a smell every single human being on Earth shared for most of our existence. Beyond smoke, ancient humans smelled like human beings. Which sounds obvious, but there is something surprising buried in that statement. The human body has roughly 3 million sweat glands. Bacteria living on the skin consume certain compounds released in sweat, and the byproduct of that process is what we recognize as body odor. This is not a flaw in human biology. It is a feature. Humans evolved the ability to sweat more than almost any other animal on Earth. This gave our ancestors a remarkable advantage. They could run prey to exhaustion across open ground under the midday sun. Scientists call this persistence hunting, and sweating was the engine that made it possible. While other animals rested in the shade, early humans kept moving. The ability to cool the body through sweat was not a side effect of evolution. It was one of the traits that made us apex hunters on the African savanna. Ancient humans were not dirty by nature. They simply had no mechanism to erase the biological process their bodies were designed to perform. But here's where it gets genuinely strange. Research suggests that modern humans may actually smell less natural than the humans we evolved to be. Modern soap, shampoo, and antibacterial products strip the skin of its natural bacterial ecosystem, changing the microbiome completely. Your ancestors spent 300,000 years smelling like actual human beings. We spend modern life trying to erase every trace of it. And the irony is that by stripping our skin of its natural microbial layer, we may have made ourselves more vulnerable to the very things our ancestors dealt with naturally. The skin microbiome is not just about smell. It is a living layer of protection that evolved over millions of years. Before you imagine ancient humans as permanently filthy, there is something important to understand. They cleaned themselves regularly. Ancient humans bathed in rivers and streams. They used sand and ash as abrasives to scrub the skin. They applied clay to the body, which draws oils and impurities from the surface. They used plant oils to condition skin and hair. They manually removed parasites from each other, a social grooming behavior documented across every known human culture and our primate relatives. Some anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups today note that certain communities bathe in rivers more frequently than many modern office workers shower. But there was no soap as we understand it. No shampoo, no fragrance designed to replace one smell with another. Clean, to an ancient human, did not mean smelling like lavender. It meant not getting sick. It meant removing the things from the body that caused infection, parasite, and disease. The goal was health, not fragrance. And by that measure, ancient humans were more intentional about cleanliness than we often give them credit for. Hygiene is not an invention of modernity. It is one of the oldest human instincts we have. We simply changed what it looks like. If you could travel back and stand at the edge of an ancient human camp, what would hit you first would not be the sight. It would be the smell. Wood smoke hanging in the air. Cooked meat and rendered animal fat from the fire. Wet animal hides drying nearby. The iron smell of blood from a recent hunt. Ash and earth after rain. Bodies that had been walking, running, and working all day. It would be overwhelming to a modern nose. But here is the thing about smell that changes everything. Humans adapt to ambient odor faster than almost any other sensory stimulus. Researchers call this olfactory adaptation, and it happens within minutes. The smell does not disappear. Your brain simply stops reporting it. Ancient humans did not walk around in discomfort from the smell of their world. They simply did not smell it anymore. It was the background of their existence, as invisible to them as the hum of traffic is to a modern city dweller. Ancient humans did not spend their lives trying to smell artificial. They smelled like the world they lived in. And the world they lived in smelled like fire, earth, rain, and life. So when did natural human smell become a problem? The answer is more recent than most people realize. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And it involves one of the most effective advertising campaigns in modern history. In 1888, the first commercial deodorant was trademarked under the name Mum. It was a waxy zinc oxide cream sold in a metal tin, designed to kill odor-causing bacteria on the skin. At the time, most people did not think they needed it. Body odor was simply part of being human. Then in 1919, an advertising copywriter named James Webb Young was hired to sell a competing product called Odorono. Young wrote advertisements for Ladies' Home Journal that framed natural body odor as a social catastrophe. He described women unknowingly offending everyone around them. Women wrote letters to the magazine saying the advertisements were disgusting and insulting. But sales of the product increased by 112% that year. British soap company Lifebuoy then popularized the term body odor itself, using it to sell their product as the solution to a problem they had named. Within a generation, natural human scent had been reframed from a normal biological reality into a source of social shame. For most of history, no one marketed you back to yourself as a problem to be solved. The industry had not solved a hygiene crisis, it had created one. Tonight, before you go to sleep, you will probably wash away every smell your body naturally produced today. Your ancestors could not do that. They carried the smell of smoke, sweat, rain, dirt, and fire with them for most of their lives. Not because they were primitive, but because those smells were the world they belonged to. Research in evolutionary anthropology suggests that human scent plays a deeper role than we acknowledge. It carries biological information about health, relatedness, and compatibility. We select partners partly through scent, even when we are not aware of it. We recognize family members by smell. Newborns are soothed by the scent of their mothers. For most of human history, another person's natural smell meant familiarity. It meant safety. It meant home. And scent was one of the primary ways humans bonded, recognized each other, and maintained trust within a group. And maybe that smell reminded them of something modern humans rarely feel anymore. That they were part of the natural world, not separated from it. We traded 300,000 years of that connection for a bottle of something that smells like artificial mountain air. A scent designed in a laboratory, produced in a factory, sold to us as nature. And most of us never even noticed it was gone. If that made you think about something differently, drop it in the comments. What would you find hardest to give up? Soap, deodorant, or toothpaste? Subscribe to Akora, because next time, we go somewhere just as uncomfortable.